Welcome to Explain the Charts, where we break down the most significant moves in the market. Today is May 1st, 2026, and we are witnessing a historic moment for Intel Corporation, trading under the symbol Intel. The stock has just closed out its best month in 55 years, gaining a staggering 115% throughout April. This move has pushed Intel to a fresh 52-week high of $97.04 during today's session. Investors are currently grappling with whether this is a sustainable breakout or a parabolic peak that is ready to reverse. The news cycle for Intel has been dominated by a strategic turnaround focused on its foundry business. One of the biggest catalysts was the announcement that Intel has joined the Terafab project alongside Elon Musk to utilize 14A technology. Additionally, the company reported Q1 earnings that massively beat expectations, with earnings per share coming in at 29 cents against an estimated loss. Tigris Financial has responded by aggressively raising its price target for Intel from $66 to $118. However, it is worth noting that while sentiment is high, U.S. consumer sentiment reached a record low of 49.8 in April, creating a sharp divergence between tech momentum and the broader economy. If we look back at the daily chart for the start of 2025, we can see how far Intel has come from its lows in the $20 range. Throughout early 2025, the stock was struggling with restructuring and cost-cutting measures amounting to $10 billion. The real shift occurred as the market realized AI infrastructure demand was extending beyond GPUs and into the server CPU space, where Intel remains a dominant force. The daily candles show a slow accumulation phase that turned into an aggressive vertical climb in early 2026. This trend was punctuated by a massive volume spike and a gap up on April 24, 2026, which we will examine more closely. Let's narrow in on the action from late March through April to see where the momentum truly shifted gears. On March 31st, Intel was trading near $44, but by the end of April, it had reached the $97 level. Notice the high-volume gap that formed between $66 and $82 on April 23rd into April 24th. Gaps of this magnitude often act as powerful support levels if the stock decides to retrace, but for now, the buyers are in full control. We are seeing consecutive green candles with higher highs and higher lows, which is a classic sign of an ultra-bullish trend. Switching over to the 1-hour chart, we can see the intraday behavior of this rally more clearly. Over the last few trading days, the stock has established a local support zone near the $91.50 mark. Every time the price dips toward $92, buyers step in to defend the trend, showing that institutions are still chasing this move. However, we are also seeing some resistance forming near the $97.50 level as some traders look to lock in profits from the April surge. The hourly candles are showing a narrowing range, suggesting that a breakout or a sharp breakdown is imminent in the coming sessions. Diving into the 15-minute time frame, we see the extreme volatility that day traders are currently navigating. The April 30th session saw a high of 97.56 and a low of 91.50, representing a wide $6 range for a single day. Watch the volume profile on these 15-minute candles. We see massive spikes during the market open and close, suggesting heavy institutional rebalancing. For short-term entries, the VWP has been a reliable indicator, with the price frequently bouncing off the volume-weighted average price during the midday session. If the 15-minute chart breaks below $91, we could see a quick flush toward the psychological $85 support level. Now let's discuss the reasons to be bullish or bearish on Intel at these levels. On the bullish side, the Foundry roadmap and the 14A technology project provide a structural growth story that could last for years. Intel's pivot to manufacturing for others, including potential deals with rivals, could turn them into the Western world's version of TSMC. The buy rating from 59% of analysts and the $118 target from Tigris Financial support the idea that the rally isn't over. If Intel can sustain its node leadership, the current price may just be the beginning of a larger cycle. On the bearish side, many analysts warn that the semiconductor sector has become stretched and overbought. The current analyst consensus target is actually around $65.44, which implies a potential downside of 32%. Intel has a history of disappointing restructuring efforts, and the foundry business is capital-intensive with no guarantee of long-term margins. A pullback to fill the gap at $82 would be a very healthy development from a technical standpoint, but painful for late entrants. Furthermore, if broader market liquidity dries up due to the low consumer sentiment we mentioned, high-flying tech stocks are usually the first to be sold. To recap our analysis, the most critical price levels to watch are the $97 resistance and the $91 support. A clean break above 97.50 could open the door to $110 very quickly as shorts are forced to cover. Conversely, a daily close below $91 would likely trigger a correction toward the $82 gap support. We also have a deep support level at $66, which was the breakout point before the April earnings report. Watch the 1-hour chart for bearish divergence in the RSI, as that often precedes a local trend reversal. For our unbiased predictions, we believe there is a 60% chance of short-term consolidation between $88 and $95. There is a 30% chance of a continued rally toward $118 if AI news flow remains overwhelmingly positive. Only a 10% chance is assigned to a total crash back to the $50 range, given the strong institutional support seen in the volume data. Keep an eye on any news regarding the EU Chips Act overhaul, as this could provide the next catalyst for the sector. Investors should remain cautious and wait for a clear retest of support before entering large new positions at these all-time highs. As we wrap up today's analysis on Explain the Charts, remember that the trend is your friend until it ends. Intel is currently the strongest performer in the semiconductor space, but momentum can shift in the blink of an eye. Thank you for watching our deep dive into Intel's historic April performance. Please note that this video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute financial advice. Always do your own research and consult with a professional before making any investment decisions.